Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do some disassembly and maintenance for you on this little guy. It is Civivi Knives Plethiros, something along those lines. Elijah, with your names. This is an Elijah Isham design, and we're going to go ahead and take this guy apart here. If you're curious about the tools I'm using at any point in this process, go ahead and check out nickshabazz.com/tools. You'll see a link to a video that talks about all of the various tools I'm using here. Anyways, hey, that's weird. The back side is the barrel and the front side is the screw. Okay. All right. I can work with that, I suppose. We are T8 all around here, which is beautiful. There we go. And the only two screws that hold it together are those two, so we can take this guy the rest of the way apart here. Very heavily skeletonized liners, which is nice. It's running on bearings. They are steel bearings, although there is a ceramic detent ball in there. That's good. And what we can see here is that the knife is running a little bit. It's not that gunky, but we'll still give it a shot. So I'm going to go ahead and use some rubbing alcohol on this guy. Got a fancy new rubbing alcohol dispenser bottle that I can just put it directly onto the pads with. We'll see how well that works. I'm making upgrades all around right now. I also spent some quality time, to go ahead and put a little bit of padding inside the old Batman mask. Because it's getting to be a little bit hot here in the San Diego, and, wearing a Batman mask with no it was just a sweat fest. This is perhaps not exactly a problem that most humans have on a regular basis. But it is a problem that I do have, and so, therefore, I'm always looking for solutions. My life is completely and totally insane, as a matter of fact. That's okay. It's the good kind of insane at the moment. But nevertheless, it occasionally shocks me just how weird my life has become. And again, this is not a complaint necessarily. It's just an observation, if you will. Right now I am... So, although remember, none of this is my freaking day job, so all of this is my weird little hobby. But nevertheless, right now I am wearing a Batman mask, disassembling a pocket knife, for an audience of roughly 82,000 people, which is larger than many towns, even some cities. So that's, well, probably not cities, but still, that's a fair, this is a good amount of insanity. And I was recently flown up to the freaking Gerber for a factory tour. Like, who the heck flies a guy who carries a Batman mask with him for the flight just in case it comes in handy for the freaking tour, right? I mean, what kind of jackass are these people working with? I don't understand my world sometimes, but that's okay. I don't really need to, I suppose. Anyways, I'm not complaining. It's just an observation that things just keep getting weirder in my life. And that's actually, in some ways, this is the good kind of weird, right? I've had some times where my life was the bad kind of weird. But this is a pleasant shift, I'll say. I also end up being very lucky in that I'm able to check out a bunch of awesome gear. I'm able to, get factory tours at cool places. I'm able to do all kinds of things. And I want to thank very much my Patreon patrons who make it possible for any of this. But my God, is this thing just completely insane, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go on ahead and put this guy back together. I'm going to use some 10-weight nano oil here as we're doing this, because I have strong opinions about knife lubrication, which, by the way, is also really freaking weird. Let's go ahead and start this guy back up again. What is the way that this needs to go? This needs to go this way, because that's not the show side. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put down a little bit of lubrication. I'm using the 10-weight here. I'm using nano oil. Knife pivot lube could work just as well. But nevertheless, I'm using it just because I know it has good staying power, etc. And I'll just rotate these bearings around. Just make sure it stays in position. There we go. And we're good to go. Ay. So very, very strange. And the funny thing is that it's a secret double life, too. Not like the people, at work who don't know would really super care. It's not a, it's not like a top secret affair. The Batman mask is more of a joke than anything. So, that's not the issue here, but it's just like there's a weirdness level to it, right? Like, what did you do this weekend? I went to Blade Show. What's Blade Show? The world's largest cutlery convention. Okay. What did you do this weekend? Oh, I went on a tour of a random gear company. Like, okay. Yeah. Anyways, this is a strange case of overfitting, I feel like. Overfitting is something I talk about regularly when I'm building models for things at work, where basically you end up building a model of the universe that works really, really well for the data you've trained it on, but doesn't generalize well to the rest of the world. And in some ways, yeah, this is sort of that. So now we have this weird issue of trying to screw in a shouldered screw where actually the pivot itself is the part that's tooled. So I just needed to make sure that I got this little, because, I'm sorry, let me explain a little bit what I meant by shouldered there, because that could screw with some people. I will pop this guy loose here and just show that off directly. So right here we have this little area right here. There's this little shoulder right there, and then on this side there's a ledge, right? And so I need to make sure that when this finally seats, the shoulder is on the ledge, and I know that the little C for Civivi needs to be facing one of these directions. So what I can actually go ahead and do is, as I'm turning this down and tightening this down, just try and keep it roughly in that positioning here. And it should spin to a point where it stops spinning, but the other way to do it is just to sort of press down when you think you're in that vicinity. Yeah, there we go. It just seated again. And so now we're in a position to turn this the rest of the way. That's a weird decision, but it's not entirely bad or anything like that. So, yeah. Anyways, there we go. This could be a little bit tight right now. I mean, I think it is a little tight right now. And throwing Loctite at myself. That's cool, too. All right. Nope. Okay, a little too loose now. A little bit of blade play. So I'll tighten this up a little bit further. Unfortunately, I'm yet to find any of the Civivis that have got the same kind of action as that first gen, the Praxis, the Backlash, etc. Feels like they changed factories or changed standards or something like that that just makes them not quite as compelling in that way. They're fine knives, but they're just not the action showpieces that they initially were, which is kind of a shame. But anyways, we are all done here. So, congratulations. You've listened to me rant wearing a Batman mask about how weird the universe is. I hope this has been interesting to you, and at least my part of the universe at least. And mostly, I hope that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.